Where would I be without you, baby?
They wanna be with you, but I gotta be real with you.
I know you're tired of being lonely, so maybe you're.
You know I can't forget anytime that she they can't stay. They can't stay.
Can't leave you alone, and I know I'm living wrong, but I can't let you go.
You are, but I'll be a superwoman. So if you need me, if you want me, just put it on you.
Lil Mo wasn't just another 90s R&B singer. She was a powerhouse, a voice that could stand toe-to-toe with the biggest names in the industry. She had the talent, the hits, and the respect. So why did she disappear? Why did an artist who helped shape the sound of early 2000s R&B suddenly fade from the spotlight? Here's the truth. Lil Mo didn't just fall off. She was pushed out, blackballed, silenced. The industry that once embraced her turned its back, and the reasons behind it are more sinister than you think. From public feuds to toxic industry politics, her career was sabotaged in ways most fans never realized. But Lil Mo didn't go down without a fight. She tried to reinvent herself, battled through personal and professional struggles, and even spoke out against the very system that once profited off her voice. So what really happened? And why does her name barely get mentioned in conversations about R&B legends? In this video, we'll break down Lil Mo's rise, the betrayals that nearly ended her career, and the shocking truth about why the industry erased one of the most underrated voices of her era. Stay tuned, because the story of Lil Mo is one they don't want you to hear. Let's get into it, but before you do, help us Sista out and hit that like and subscribe. From the very beginning, Lil Mo had everything going for her. She had a once-in-a-generation voice, the ability to write real R&B records, and major co-signs from industry powerhouses like Missy Elliott and Ja Rule. By the early 2000s, she was everywhere, singing the hooks on some of the biggest rap and R&B records of the time. Her collaborations with Ja Rule alone, Put It On Me and I Cry, were game changers. At one point, you couldn't turn on the radio without hearing her voice. So why didn't Lil Mo ever reach the superstar level of her peers? Because the industry never wanted her to. See, in the early 2000s, R&B had a very specific formula. The industry pushed polished, marketable, and safe artists, the Ashantis, Beyoncés, and Aaliyahs, while someone like Lil Mo, she was too raw. She didn't fit the cookie-cutter R&B princess mold. She had a voice, both musically and personally. She wasn't afraid to speak her mind, call out the industry's BS, or stand up for herself. And the moment she started stepping on the wrong toes, the industry made sure she felt it. Her career was already on shaky ground. But what happened next? That was the final nail in the coffin. Let's talk about it. Lil Mo was never the industry's favorite. And if you look at how the early 2000s music scene worked, it's not hard to see why. Record labels controlled who got to be the next big star. And in R&B, they had a specific blueprint: light-skinned, soft-spoken, and easily marketable. They wanted singers who fit the image just as much as they fit the sound. Lil Mo, she didn't fit that mold at all. She was loud, outspoken, and raw, the exact opposite of what the industry was trying to package and sell. She wasn't the polished, industry-approved R&B star like Ashanti, Aaliyah, or Beyoncé. Instead, she had a tomboy edge, a street-smart attitude, and a no-nonsense approach that didn't sit well with industry execs. And here's the thing, talent wasn't enough to break past that. If the industry didn't want you to win, they'd make sure you didn't. So, despite being a major part of some of the biggest hits of the early 2000s, Lil Mo was never treated like an A-list artist. Her label pushed her debut album back multiple times. She was constantly overlooked for major awards, and industry insiders didn't take her as seriously as her peers. But the real problem? Lil Mo knew she was being overlooked, and she wasn't afraid to say it out loud. She called out industry politics, made it clear she wasn't going to play by the rules, and never bit her tongue when it came to people she felt were disrespecting her. And in the music industry, that's career suicide. But it wasn't just her attitude that got her in trouble. She made one mistake. One tiny decision that turned some of the most powerful people in the industry against her. And that mistake? It all started with Ja Rule and 50 Cent's legendary beef. If you were an artist in the early 2000s, aligning yourself with the wrong people could end your career. And that's exactly what happened to Lil Mo. At the height of her success, she was heavily associated with Ja Rule and Murder Inc. Her vocals helped define their biggest hits. Put It On Me and I Cry weren't just songs, they were moments in hip-hop and R&B history. For a while, it seemed like Lil Mo was locked in as part of Murder Inc.'s inner circle. But that all changed in 2003 because of one moment. While hosting 106 in Park Prime, Lil Mo did something she thought was harmless. She shouted out G-Unit while introducing a music video. Now, if you know hip-hop beefs, you already know why this was a problem. At the time, Ja Rule and 50 Cent were at war, one of the biggest rap beefs in history. Ja Rule and his label, Murder Inc. Chadier, saw G-Unit as the enemy. So when Lil Mo, someone closely associated with Ja Rule, publicly shouted out his biggest rival, that was enough to get her cut off. Ja Rule and Murder Inc. took it personally, and instead of brushing it off as a harmless mistake, they turned on Lil Mo. Things got ugly fast. Ja Rule dropped a diss track called Loose Change, taking shots at 50 Cent, Eminem, Dr. Dre, and Lil Mo. Murder Inc. completely distanced themselves from her, and just like that, her biggest allies in the industry became her biggest enemies. But Lil Mo wasn't the type to just take that quietly. She fired back with her own diss track, but at that point, the damage was already done. By turning on Ja Rule, she lost more than just a collaborator. She lost radio play, label support, and industry backing. And when you're an artist on the rise, getting blackballed by a major label can be a death sentence for your career. But Lil Mo didn't just lose industry connections, she lost millions. Because what happened next? That was the final blow. If getting cut off by Ja Rule and Murder Inc. wasn't bad enough, Lil Mo did something that officially sealed her fate in the music industry. She sued them. In 2005, Lil Mo filed a $15 million lawsuit against J. Rule, Murder Inc., and Def Jam Records for unpaid royalties. Now, if you know anything about the music business, you know that suing a major label is career suicide. Labels don't take kindly to artists demanding money, especially artists who aren't protected by a major label powerhouse. Lil Mo had a solid case. She had helped create some of Murder Inc.'s biggest hits but wasn't paid properly, and instead of staying quiet, she decided to fight for what was hers. But in the music industry, labels would rather blackball you than pay you. After she filed the lawsuit, industry doors started closing on her. Her music stopped getting radio play. Her record label deals started falling apart. Executives and producers she once worked with started distancing themselves. At that point, she was officially on the outside. But Lil Mo wasn't just dealing with industry retaliation. Her personal life was also falling apart. Because right when she needed the music industry the most, tragedy struck. And what happened next? It almost cost Lil Mo her life. Just when Lil Mo thought things couldn't get worse, life proved her wrong. She had already lost her industry backing, her radio play was drying up, and the lawsuit against Murder Inc. put a permanent stain on her reputation. But then, in 2005, something happened that almost ended everything for her. After leaving a concert venue in San Francisco, Lil Mo was attacked, not just jumped or threatened. She was brutally hit in the head with a champagne bottle. The attack was so severe that she needed 22 stitches to close the wound. But here's the crazy part. The attacker was never caught. To this day, nobody knows who did it or why. And while some people chalk it up to a random act of violence, others believe this wasn't just an accident. This was a message. Whether it was street drama, industry retaliation, or something even darker, Lil Mo was never the same after that. But even after surviving that attack, her career never recovered. Her sophomore album flopped due to lack of promotion. Her label dropped her, leaving her as an independent artist. Her music was getting overshadowed by controversy. With her career slipping away, she did what a lot of artists in her position do. She turned to reality TV. At first, it seemed like a second chance. feuds, a way to reintroduce herself to the world. But in the end, reality TV only made things worse, because while Lil Mo was fighting to stay relevant, she was also fighting battles behind the scenes, battles that nearly destroyed her completely. And what happened next? It made the Ja Rule drama, the lawsuit, and the attack look small in comparison. When the music industry shuts you out, there aren't many ways to stay relevant. For Lil Mo, the answer was reality TV. At first, it seemed like a lifeline. In 2013, she joined the cast of RnB Divas, Los Angeles, giving fans a raw, unfiltered look at her life and career. But if you've ever watched reality TV, you already know how this goes. Instead of reviving her music career, it turned her into a drama magnet. She clashed with Kelly Price, Shantae Moore, and other cast members, and her fiery personality made for great TV, but it also made people focus more on her arguments than her music. And when the show ended, Lil Mo did what many reality stars do. She kept chasing the spotlight. She jumped from one reality show to another, appearing on Love and Hip Hop New York, and even Couples Court with the Cutlers, where she put her own husband through a lie detector test for cheating. Then came Marriage Boot Camp, where she aired out even more of her relationship problems for the world to see. At this point, Lil Mo wasn't making headlines for her music. She was making headlines for her personal life. And just when she thought she'd hit rock bottom, she made things even worse. Because in 2018, she did something that made fans turn against her too. She publicly defended both Fabulous and R. Kelly during their abuse allegations. She dismissed the accusations against Fabulous, who was facing domestic violence charges. Then, when Surviving R. Kelly dropped, she questioned why the victims waited so long to come forward. The backlash was immediate. Fans dragged her online. Blogs tore her apart. And just like that, the industry wasn't her only problem anymore. Her own audience started turning on her. By this point, Lil Mo had gone from a rising R&B star to a reality TV mess to a public villain. Her music career barely holding on. Her industry connections almost non-existent. Her public reputation destroyed. So in 2019, Lil Mo did something no one saw coming. She walked away from music for good. But why? The answer will shock you. By 2019, Lil Mo had been through everything. She had been blackballed by the music industry. She had been physically attacked in the streets. She had lost millions in unpaid royalties. She had been dragged through the mud in reality TV drama. She had burned bridges with fans and industry insiders alike. But what finally broke her? Her marriage. Lil Mo had been married to boxer Carl Dargan, and from the outside, it seemed like things were solid. But behind closed doors, it was toxic. And then came the breaking point, one that played out on national television. While on Marriage Boot Camp, Lil Mo forced Carl to take a lie detector test because she suspected he was cheating. And guess what? He failed. But that wasn't even the worst part. Shortly after filming ended, Carl spit on her in front of their children. That was it. That was the final straw. Lil Mo left him immediately, but the damage was already done. Years of emotional, physical, and financial abuse had pushed her to the edge. She admitted in interviews that during this time, she had become hooked on opioids just to cope with everything happening in her life. She wasn't just struggling with addiction, she was suicidal. She was exhausted, broken, done. So she made a decision no one saw coming. She walked away from music to become a lawyer. Yep, Lil Mo, the same woman who had been in the music game since she was a teenager, decided she was done. In an emotional Instagram post, she told fans that she was leaving the industry to study law. Not because she wanted to, but because she felt she had no other choice. She wanted control over her life. She wanted respect, something the music industry never gave her. And most importantly, she wanted to finally be taken seriously. So she vanished from the spotlight. No more reality shows, no more messy interviews, no more industry politics, just Lil Mo rebuilding her life from scratch. But here's the thing, even after everything, she's still standing. She's independent. She's clean. She's focused. And whether or not she ever returns to music, one thing is clear. Lil Mo may not have won the industry's game, but she's still writing her own story. Lil Mo's story is a cautionary tale. It proves that talent alone isn't enough to survive in the music business, that the industry picks and chooses who gets to win, that if you don't play by their their rules, they'll make sure you lose. But Lil Mo, she never played by the rules. And while that may have cost her a legendary career, it also made her a survivor. The industry may have tried to erase her, but her voice, her music, her impact, that can never be erased. And that's something the industry can't take away. What do you think? Did Lil Mo get blackballed, or was she her own worst enemy? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you love these deep dives into forgotten R&B legends, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.